Don't say a word. Keep that mouth shut. No explanations, no defenses, no justifications. You don't need them. They've already made up their minds about you. They've already decided who you are and written your story in their heads. Pages upon pages filled with lies, misunderstandings, and assumptions that they truly believe are facts. And you? You sat there in silence. You let them talk, let them twist things. Let them paint you in colors that don't belong to you. And guess what? Your silence spoke louder than any scream could have. See, people like to act as though they're interested in the truth, like they're these enlightened beings just waiting to hear your side of the story, but you and I both know that's a farce. They don't want to hear your side. They want a villain. They want someone to point the finger at, someone to blame, someone to gossip about when the lights go down. It makes them feel secure, makes them feel better about their own empty, meaningless lives. But here's the funny part. You said nothing, and yet they heard everything. Oh, the irony. They twisted your silence into words you never said, into crimes you never committed, into intentions you never had, and now you walk around with their version of you hanging over your shoulders like a weight, like a ghost of someone you never were. Why? Because deep down a part of you still cares about their opinion, still wants to prove them wrong, still wants to show them the real you. But let me tell you something, kid. You can't change the minds of people who've already made up their minds about you. You can't wake up people who are pretending to be asleep. The world doesn't run on truth. It runs on perception. And perception? That's just a polite way of saying lies people choose to believe. Look around. You see those people? The ones who judge, the ones who whisper, the ones who turn their backs when you walk in the room. They don't hate you because of what you did. They hate you because of what they think you did. They hate you because it's easier than facing the fact that they were never paying attention in the first place. Ever notice how quiet they get when you stop explaining yourself? That's because they need your words to twist, your emotions to manipulate, your vulnerability to feed on. And when you stop giving it to them, oh, they panic, they scramble. They don't know what to do. Because the moment you realize you don't owe them an explanation is the moment you take away their power. But most people, they can't handle that. They need validation. They need closure. They need someone to look them in the eyes and say, I was wrong about you. But let's be real. When's the last time you heard someone admit they were wrong? That's the game, my friend. And it's rigged. So, what's the next move? What do you do now that they've already decided who you are, now that they've built an image of you in their minds that you'll never be able to break apart? Simple. You let them keep it. Let them believe their little stories. Let them whisper. Let them act like they know you. Because while they're busy living in their delusions, you're out here building something real, something they could never touch. That's the difference between you and them. They talk, you move. They assume, you act. They stay in the past, you carve out the future. But in order to do that, you need to let go of the weight you've been carrying. The weight of their words, the weight of their false ideas. You've been clutching onto it like it's a lifeline, but it's only pulling you down. You think that if you just hold on long enough, they'll change their minds, that they'll see you for who you truly are. But listen to me, they never will. People don't see reality. They see reflections of themselves. They see what they want to see, what fits into their tiny world. And you don't fit. You're too different, too real, too raw. And that scares them. So they'll keep talking, keep twisting, keep building that imaginary version of you in their heads. But none of it matters. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that defines you is what you do next. So tell me, are you going to waste your life trying to fix their version of you, or are you going to burn it to the ground and create something they can never touch? Because I promise you this, the second you stop caring, the second you let go of their nonsense, that's when you finally get to live. And trust me, kid, living, that's the one thing they never wanted you to do. They never wanted you to live. They wanted you to exist inside their little story, their version of reality, where you're nothing more than a background character, a mistake, a lesson, a warning. They never saw you as a person, just a consequence, something they could use and discard when it no longer fit their narrative. And the funniest part? You let them. You sat there, hands tied behind your back, watching them rewrite your life like you weren't even in the room. You let them dictate your story, let them carve their names into your skin like you were some kind of canvas for their projection. And now look at you, sitting here broken and silent, wondering where it all went wrong, wondering how you let it get this far, wondering if there's any way back. Let me tell you something, kid, there is no way back. You don't get to undo what's been done. You don't get to rewrite their lies with your truth. You don't get to make them see you. They won't. They never will. Because the world isn't built on truth. It's built on perception, and perception is a parasite. It latches onto weak minds, infects them, makes them believe in an illusion so deeply that they'd rather die than admit they were wrong. You could stand in front of them, screaming the truth until your lungs gave out, and it wouldn't matter because they're not listening. They never were. And that is your most powerful weapon, because if they're not listening, then you're free. Free from their expectations, free from their judgment, free from the weight of their opinions that you've been dragging around like a corpse tied to your back. Do you realize how powerful that makes you? They think ignoring you makes them strong, that their silence is some form of punishment. But what they don't get is that silence is where real monsters are born. You sat in that darkness, you listened, you observed, you learned, you saw them for what they truly are. Shallow, fragile beings hiding behind loud words and fake smiles, clinging to their illusions like children terrified of the dark. But you're not afraid anymore, are you? No. You've seen too much, felt too much, lost too much. Fear isn't even in your vocabulary anymore. What remains inside you is something far more dangerous, something far stronger, something far darker, a realization that nothing was ever real, that everything you held on to, every friendship, every promise, every word ever spoken, was just noise. Meaningless noise. And now, standing here, drowning in the silence they left behind, you finally understand. You were never a part of their world. You were never meant to be. You were an intruder, a glitch in their perfectly crafted little system. And when they couldn't control you, when they couldn't shape you into what they needed, they erased you. But they made one fatal mistake. One tiny, irreversible mistake. They left you alive. And now it's your turn. Your move, your game. No more explanations, no more justifications, no more waiting for an apology that will never come. You take everything they threw at you, all the hate, all the doubt, all the betrayal, and you turn it into something they can't ignore. You don't scream, you don't beg, you don't try to make them understand. You show them with every step you take, every move you make in silence, every moment that they realize they never mattered. You make them regret ever underestimating you, because the only thing more terrifying than a person with nothing to lose is a person who no longer cares whether they win or lose. That's you now, a force of nature, a storm rolling in. They can feel it in the air, smell it in their bones. They know they made a mistake. They know they should have never pushed you this far. But it's too late now. They had their chance to stand beside you, but now they'll have to watch from a distance, powerless to stop what's coming. And that is your revenge. Not some petty act of destruction. No, something far worse. Something far more poetic. You succeed, you thrive. You become something so untouchable, so undeniable, that their words, their lies, their entire perception of you will crumble under the weight of reality. And the best part? You do it without ever speaking a word. Because they don't deserve your words. They don't deserve your explanations. They lost that right the moment they chose to believe in a version of you that never existed. So let them let them feel the weight of it. Let it haunt them. Because silence is a weapon. And when used correctly, it cuts deeper than any knife. So tell me, kid, are you done waiting? Are you done hoping? Are you done carrying the burden of people who never cared about you in the first place? Because if you are, if you finally see the truth for what it really is, then congratulations. You're free. Free from their illusions, free from their expectations, free from the lie that you ever needed their approval in the first place. And that, my friend, is the punchline. But here's the thing. Freedom, real freedom, it's not as pretty as they make it out to be. It's not sunshine and open roads. No, real freedom is cold. It's quiet. It's lonely. Because when you finally break those chains, when you stop caring about their opinions, their whispers, their little fabricated stories, something strange happens. The world gets empty. You look around and you realize that most of the people you once considered friends were nothing more than well-dressed spectators. They watched your life unfold like it was some tragic play. They never truly cared about you. They were just there for the entertainment. They fed off your suffering, whispered behind closed doors, waiting for you to break so they could feel a little better about themselves. But now, you're off the stage. You're no longer their show, no longer their victim, no longer their punchline.